Flying is a humbling experience. There are days when you're flying where you couldn't do wrong if you tried. You're on your game, you're ahead of the aircraft, you and the aircraft are one. Then there are other days. Days where you're off your game, behind the curve, chasing the aircraft, a little off kilter, behind the 8-ball, out in left field. Have I used enough euphemisms? You know, broken shoelace days. Days where you probably shouldn't be flying. Like today, for an example. Today's plan was a short hop from Arnprior to Iroquois to meet with some friends for breakfast. A short 56 nautical mile or 22-minute flight in an RV. Iroquois is a beautiful airport, well-maintained, beautiful location, nice asphalt, bordering on the US, right on the St. Lawrence, great approach over the golf course, no trees to clear. You get the idea. We haven't been down to Iroquois in 4 or 5 years, but it really is a special place. Prior to COVID, Iroquois would host an annual and very popular corn roast for all pilots. What the Iroquois runway isn't is big. It's 2,000 feet long and 23 feet wide. The Canada Flight Supplement lists it as 75 feet wide, but they're measuring the grass. The asphalt's 23 feet, and everybody wants to stay on the asphalt. We all get used to our environments. If you're based in Iroquois or another airport with a 20-foot wide runway, your approach, your flare, your judgment, they're all set up for that airport. However, if you're normally operating out of a 4,000 or 5,000 foot strip that's 100 feet wide or 150 or even 200 feet wide, your approach, flare, and judgment are tuned for that environment. As pilots, we're all aware of this. Linda and I were discussing this very fact on the way down. A narrower than usual runway can create an illusion that the aircraft is higher than it actually is, leading to a lower approach. Now, Iroquois is also only 2,000 feet long. For me, and our 1,100 pound RV6, this is beginning to get tight. Our approach is about 75 knots or 86 miles an hour. At this approach speed, you are covering 126 feet per second, and you will have traveled the entire length of the runway in less than 16 seconds. So you want to land early, jump on the brakes, and give yourself some breathing room. So to recap, the runway is narrow, so we have the illusion that we are higher than we are, but it is also short, so you want to land as early as you can. So let's go embarrass ourselves. So what happened here? My mains touched the grass just before the threshold, and the runway threshold gently launched us back into the air. I've been flying for 35 years now. This is sort of embarrassing. Why am I sharing this with you? We all make mistakes. The more we share, the more we can learn from each other. Some of these mistakes can be costly. Although it's been a few years since I've flown into Iroquois, I have done it previously several times with 3 different aircraft. I'm well aware of the illusions that the aircraft is higher than it actually is. We even discussed it on the way down, yet I still misjudged. What did I do wrong? Well, I was lower than I thought I was due to the illusion, and I was too focused on the threshold. We should never be landing on the threshold, even on shorter runways. On larger runways like Ottawa, runway 32 depicted here, they have runway aiming points. They're commonly called the 1,000 foot marker. They are perfect targets to descend towards, and you should plan to touch down on or just beyond them. If landing performance allows, having some of the runway prior to your point of landing will ensure that you don't land short. There's rarely a time when landing on the numbers is safer than near the aiming point. Now, most shorter runways don't have any aiming points to refer to, Iroquois included. A good practice here is to focus beyond the threshold, beyond the numbers. Keep in mind, it's much more likely for a single engine piston to land short when aiming for the threshold than to overrun the runway afterwards. What did I do well, if anything? I didn't hesitate for a moment to execute a missed approach. I didn't try to wrestle the aircraft back onto the ground while using up valuable asphalt. I didn't run off the other end of the runway because I landed late and was forced to brake hard. And most importantly, I didn't scare Linda. How you doing, George?
Good, you?
Where do they? I don't know where they.
Those are big ships.